Hi, my name is Subhash from the Pulapudi, and today I'm going to discuss about organization culture change for this IRP. So, these are the topics that I'm going to cover today. Today I'm going to talk about organization culture change, how organization change its culture, some of the successful stories of organization culture change, and an interview with an HR manager at Mayo Clinic. First, what is organization culture? As the book says, organization culture is a reflection of an organization's personality and similar to an individual's personality, provide us with insights into attitudes and behaviors. Organization culture plays an important role in various organizations. Culture is a central factor that affects the ways in which people act and interact with the society. Organization culture affects individual and group behavior in subtle but expected ways. In a negative approach, people usually tend to distrust, dislike, or in some cases even fear others with different ideas or with different ways of doing certain things. Sometimes an organization's culture can discourage employees by having them work within a certain set of beliefs. An organization can promote change, but only by setting its own boundaries. So, what are the reasons for culture change? The reasons for culture change is to improve business performance in terms of profits and revenues, to meet the needs of company's mission and goals, to improve returns on investment, to improve standards of customer service, and in response to market changes, external environments, in response to political and legal environment, and in response to change of ownership and economic conditions. So, how does an organization change its culture? In order for a culture change to effect, it takes the work of committed leaders. Leaders must also empower employees to work and follow through with the culture change. There are two different fundamental ways to bring culture change in an organization. One is to recruit or hire new people that will be trained into the culture at the start of, or people who are used to that certain culture. Another method is to get employees to adapt and get used to the new culture change. Leaders have to persuade employees to buy into the new set of beliefs. There are 5 initial steps to culture change. As the book says, there are behavior change, justifying the behavior change, using cultural communications, hiring and socialization, and removal of deviants. So, what is behavioral change process? Managers who are attempting to introduce major change in an organization often begin by assessing and then trying to change employee attitudes. If an organization members can see the value of the change, they are most likely to accept the change and identify what the organization is attempting to accomplish. The next process is justifying behavior change. If cultural change is to take place, managers should make every effort to support relevant behavioral changes with intrinsic motivators. As part of this process, explanations for and justifications for the cultural change must be made to the organization members. One approach is to convince organization members to probe their present beliefs and values by showing them that the assumptions conflict with what is happening currently around them. Another process is cultural communications. Cultural communication takes place using both explicit and implicit levels. Explicit cultural messages include announcements, memos, speeches, and other direct forms of communication. Intrinsic cultural messages includes logos, symbolic actions, etc. to promote the cultural change. Another process is removal of deviants. Perhaps Perhaps the most controversial aspect of cultural change concerns dealing with those individuals who continually resist to change and what the organization attempting to accomplish. Removal of deviants can also reduce the level of critical analysis that exists in an organization. So I happened to Google and came across two successful stories who changed their culture and were successful. One is the culture change at the Children's Village. Children's Village is an excellent example of successful cultural change. The organization was struggling first, and it seemed for a long time that the Children's Village was going to shut down. But a new CEO came into picture and brought new policies, new cultural changes. He brought facility improvements, a new focus on professionalism, and a new hiring criteria. Employees at first felt demoralized due to these changes, but because of these changes, the company shot upward and still swells upward. Another cultural change at Halwood plant of Jaguar. As the car industry became more competitive, Jaguar had to respond quickly to rapidly changing needs. They could no longer rely on producing standardized products, but had to manage a wider portfolio of associated products. In 1990, many of the employees at Halwood plant had previously produced Ford Escorts using traditional manufacturing techniques. They were not encouraged to show initiative. So, after making some cultural changes, Jaguar had its employee make the new X400 Jaguar. The success of the X400 production system at Halwood is based on basically three pillars. First one was an emphasis on quality at every stage in the production of the new cars. And next thing is the cultural change program, creating an empowered, entrepreneurial and committed workforce, and establishing centers of excellent practice across the organization, which act as benchmarks for improving performance and carrying out similar operations. So, I got an opportunity to interview with one of the HR managers that works in Mayo Clinic about Mayo's culture and recent Mayo Clinic's cultural changes. He started the interview off by explaining to me how Mayo's main and important ideals are based off that one quote. The quote was, "The best interest of the patient is the only interest to be considered, and in order that the sick may have the benefit of advancing knowledge, union of forces is necessary." This was a quote that all Mayo employees stood by for many decades. Dr. William J. Mayo started the organization of that one belief, and it is astonishing to see Mayo Clinic stand by that ideal for multiple decades. Mayo Clinic's roots back to the days it was founded. Mayo Clinic's fundamental culture ideals are teamwork, collegiality, professionalism, mutual respect, and a commitment that patients' needs comes first. These ideals make Mayo Clinic an amazing place to practice medicine, teach, and conduct research. When I talked to the HR manager, he said there are some recent cultural changes. The two recent cultural changes was EMR integration and more diversity. Mayo Clinic has 3 different EMR systems that spread all the way to Arizona and Florida. Mayo Clinic recently decided to merge the 3 EMR systems and have only one EMR system for the 3 sites, Minnesota, Arizona, and Florida, so that the patient can have the best practice of care on all the 3 sites. The next cultural change was diversity. Diversity plays an important in any organization. Mayo is encouraging diversity in many different areas such as the IT area, medicine area, etc. so that there will be a diversified work culture. Coming to conclusion, based on all this, culture is an inherent part of an organization, and the organization's success depends greatly on its culture. Efforts to create a particular type of culture must be guided by committed leaders who envision compelling missions for their organizations. So these are the references that I found. Okay, if you have any questions, please contact me at my email ID. And thank you for watching.